Hello, hello. Thank you so very much for dropping by this video. This video is going to be about how to use the 12 step, the spiritual path of the 12 steps to recover from pornography addiction. And really, it works for any addiction, but this was a question someone asked me specifically about pornography addiction. So I'm going to address that. So the question was, can you explain more about this 12-step process to get away from porn addiction? It's already ruining my life. Please help me. So first and foremost, my heart goes out to you, brother. And I'm sorry I keep tilting my head. The camera on this, for some reason anyway, you'll just have to please hang in there with me. The camera is showing something funny. But anyway, first of all, my heart goes out to you, brother. I have multiple addictions. Pornography was one of them, and it was absolutely ruining my life. And I tried everything to stop. I even locked out all my computers, but I even found a way around that. So just first and foremost, my heart is with you, and you're not alone. There's a lot of other people who struggle with pornography addiction, and I believe it's becoming just rampant, absolutely rampant. And yes, any addiction, whether it be pornography, alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, it's even possible to become addicted to negative loops and patterns of thinking and feeling. Any real addiction will destroy your life. Again, my heart is with you. So how does this connect to the 12 steps, and how can the 12 steps help? Well, the 12-step process, which is a little different from the 12-step movement, the 12-step process is a path of surrendering to a higher power, of admitting, hey, I can't beat this thing on my own. I need my willpower is not sufficient to beat this. So that's a hard place to come to. And so I don't know, to this person who wrote, but personally, I had already tried everything, and all the addictions together, pornography being one of them, was wrecking my life. So I don't know if you've tried other things. If you haven't tried other things, I would suggest that first, because the 12 steps are really designed for people who are desperate, who are like, I'm out of options. That's really how they work. So if that's not you, then I would suggest that you try something else first. There's a beautiful thing called Smart Recovery that I highly recommend. It didn't work for me, but it's worked for many, many other people with very severe addictions. There's many other ways to try to recover from addictions using your willpower, basically behavioral modification or behavioral management. Now, here's where things get interesting. A real addict sinks down so low that willpower is not sufficient. They will literally addict themselves to death. If it's alcohol or drugs, they'll do it till they overdose. If it's something like pornography or gambling, they'll do it until they're so miserable that they actually take their lives. They'll become homeless, and it's really, for someone who doesn't have a real addiction, it's next to impossible to fathom. So if you have a real pornography addiction, or said another way, if you are an addict, if this addiction has taken you so low that there's no hope for you, that's where the 12 steps come in. Because the 12 steps are based in the spiritual truth. In a moment, I'll say what I mean by truth, but the spiritual truth that there actually is a power. You can define it how you like. Religious people might call it God. Spiritual people might call it the universe or consciousness or higher self. You get to define it how you will, but that there is a power that's greater than you that can actually lead you to freedom, can solve this problem that you, and by you I mean me and other people with a deep and real addiction, that we cannot solve on our own. And that was me, because I tried everything. I really tried everything, and it would always work for a short period of time. So at a certain point, I just was brought to my knees, literally and figuratively. And then that's where the 12 steps begin, is this recognition of powerlessness, and then this openness to the possibility that maybe you don't even have to believe, you just have to be open to believe that maybe there is something out there that can solve this problem which I can't solve on my own. And so from there, it's a process of, now again, you don't have to believe, you just have to be open to believing. It's a process of clearing away the things that block us from that power. Part of it's taking a personal inventory of our shortcomings, but also recognizing our strengths. Part of it is making amends to people in the past. And from there, once there's been a clearing out of the things that have been blocking, normally by that point, most people are literally able to feel the presence of a higher power, and the compulsion, the out of control addiction is then literally vanishes. So for me, I got to the point where I could maybe go 1 or 2 days without addiction, maybe. Oftentimes I couldn't even go a day. And for me, it was a combination of addictions. I would spend all day on the computer. I would either overeat or eat junk food. And then 2 to 5 times a day, I would use pornography all day, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours, not sleeping, day after day after day, week after week. That's what my life was like. And I tried everything, and I just couldn't stop. Then I began to work the 12 steps, and you don't have to, but it's very helpful to work them with someone else who can sort of guide you through the process. This compulsion, which I could not fix, and which everything I tried could not fix, it vanished as I began to feel the literal presence of a higher power. And it's hard to put into words, but it feels like, to me, it feels like deep peace, this kind of energy, this expanded awareness, love, joy. It has different flavors, but it did for me what I couldn't do for myself. And then the final portion of the 12 steps is then how to live a spiritual way of life that keeps us in contact with that higher power and guided by that higher power. So that is the 12 steps in a nutshell, and how it addresses a pornography addiction or any addiction, and a little bit of my own experience with it. Thank you so much for your question, and I hope this is helpful. And to anyone else out there who is, and lastly, so this isn't something I created. There are many fellowships that teach about the 12 steps. In terms of pornography, there is Sex Addicts Anonymous, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, and Pornography Addicts Anonymous. So you can check with any one of those, and I'm going to put my email in the description below, and you're welcome to reach out to me if you would like help recover in learning the 12 steps, learning how to surrender to this higher power. Thank you so very much. and blessings to everyone. And to anyone who is struggling with pornography addiction or any addiction, there really is hope. There really is a way out. Thanks so much for dropping by. Big love.